Until we got a call on the line. Let's go straight to our caller real quick, Blue. We got my man Chuck on the line. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, you three, and the listening viewing audience. Happy holidays to you all. Blue, is the first time ever conversing with you. I always enjoy watching you on YouTube. My reason for calling you all is talking about the transfer portal. We've seen a lot of them go in the transfer portal, and just one of them that we had just seen last Saturday in the Celebration Bowl is in the transfer portal, Caden High from South Carolina State. I had seen that, and I just saw yesterday that I was reading about Andrew Jones, the linebacker at Grambling up here. I'm up here in Monroe, Louisiana, Blue, and in Grambling territory, and I see he's going to the University of South Carolina. If I stand corrected on that.
Yeah. So actually, with Andrew Jones,
thank you, Chuck.
He committed.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate you, Chuck. On Andrew Jones, though, Perry, he actually committed to South Carolina, and yesterday flipped his commitment to Ole Miss. So now he's headed to go play for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss now.
Let's do this, Blue. Let's look at the SWAC East, right? Let's start over in the SWAC East. Of course, we got Mississippi Valley. We got Jackson State. We got Alabama A&M. We got Alabama State. You look over, you got Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman. Let's look at those programs. Give me some of the guys right now of names that you've seen hit the transfer portal from any of those programs so far out of the SWAC East.
I think the biggest loss would potentially be Joshua Nobles from Jackson. I think that was an interesting decision, that he had a really, really good year off the edge. I think Jackson really improved their edge and linebacker play, and Nobles was one of the guys that I think really improved that defense for me. For what I was told, he's from up north and wanted to kind of get closer to family, which is expected. And Jackson's done a good job recruiting there. But yeah, Joshua Nobles is one. I think for some of the other teams, man, I mean, really and truly, they haven't lost too much. I'll say this, man, I feel really bad for Mississippi Valley, just because, Perry, I mean, we know anytime you make a coaching change, you're going to lose a lot of players. And all those young freshmen that were making an impact, Tajirian Williams, they had a few defensive backs at the portal. All that recruiting that staff was starting to kind of build some momentum in state, Perry, all those kids at the portal. And so I really kind of wonder, the new staff, whoever ends up taking that Valley job, like, what are they going to do to rebuild that program, Perry? And I think they had a solid young foundation built. Now, do I think Valley was going to win the SWAC or anything? No. But, Perry, I mean, we kind of saw some of that young talent come to fruition, upsetting FAMU, playing some other games a little bit closer last year. I feel like that was a premature firing, and I think you saw that with all these young players that hit the portal now. And I'm going to say this, Perry, Valley's had some players these past year or so transfer out and be significant contributors elsewhere. I thought they had plenty of individual talent in certain positions. I mean, Perry, they had a starting corner or nickel that transferred out and was the starting nickel on Tarleton State, who made the playoffs this year. So I think Valley just lost. I mean, I want to say it's up to like 12 or plus players for Valley now hit the portal. So to me, like, those are two out of the SWAC East that really stand out to me.
Let's go to the phone lines right quick. We got a caller. Good morning.
Hello?
Hey, good morning.
Hey, this is Mr. Ford. How you doing?
Hey, doing good.
All right, this is for Blue. Blue, I want to know about the Trumaine Jackson room. Is he going to Prairie View? And then this thing about Teddy Bridgewater being interviewed by some HBCU. I want to know if you know about that. And your initial thoughts on the whole Michael Vick hiring. Do you think he'll win? And you heard anything about who's going to be on the staff? Y'all have a good morning.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate Mr. Ford for calling in. Terry, I don't know what you've heard. I'd love your opinion on this after I give my thoughts. From what I'm hearing, Trumaine Jackson of PV is a done deal behind the scenes, and they're just kind of waiting for this D2 national championship run to finish up. I want to say that game's today, if I'm not mistaken. And man, I think that was the obvious hire, in my opinion, Perry. I mean, and me and you have talked about this on our Sunday morning show on Facebook, on the Yard. Championship coaches are hard to find, man. We talk about coaching hires within the SWAC, and we talk about who deserves opportunities and who doesn't. I don't see how a guy who has continued to consistently compete for national championships at Valdosta and Tremaine Jackson, who's an HBCU alum, who has SWAC ties, was consistently getting overlooked for some of these positions, Perry, as a head coach. And so I think Tremaine Jackson, the PV, is a no-brainer there. Now, on the Bridgewater thing, it's a little iffy. So I know he said an HBCU interviewed him. If I'm going to take a stab in the dark here, Perry, I believe that was Valley. Valley, from what I'm hearing, has interviewed a few candidates, and a few candidates have applied. So, Perry, just to say it on here, I've heard from a really good source that Connell Maynor has put in his application for the Valley job. I've heard that Ed Reed has. Now, I'm serious. And listen, I've heard Ed Reed put in an application, but Valley has chosen not to interview Ed Reed as of now. And Michael Spurlock, former running back coach at Southern Miss, is the guy who's had an interview there as well. So there's a few names swirling there. So I would imagine Teddy Bridgewater has probably interviewed for that job, unless it's Alabama A&M, which I feel like is a little bit more less likely with two potential candidates emerging there. And then finally, man, the Michael Vick hire I thought was a slam dunk, Perry. I mean, I'm not always for the celebrity hire, but Perry, I want you to tell me if I'm crazy, but that one just made sense, right? Because of location, because of the challenges that Norfolk has been presented in terms of recruiting that Tidewater area. Hiring a Michael Vick is an injection of excitement. There's not a single campus in the Tidewater area now where kids are not going to be paying attention to Norfolk State and want to go play there. So I think the Vick hire is there. Is he going to be ready to compete year one? I don't know. Like you said, like Mr. Ford said, I think it depends on who he brings in on the staff. I've heard it's going to be a very NFL staffy staff with a lot of NFL ties, with maybe some former players and things like that. But it's all going to come down to how they recruit year one. But we saw with Chinnisberry, Perry, you can win in year one. I mean, heck, Eric Dooley went to Southern and took them to the SWAC championship year one. So we know it can be done. But listen, Trey Oliver's building a monster at North Carolina Central. Chinnisberry has a great foundation at South Carolina State. So I think it's a little crazy to think he's just going to walk to the MEAC champion or the Celebration Bowl next year, or walk to a MEAC championship. So I think he could be competitive, but until I see his staff and his recruiting class, I'm not going to say that Norfolk should be the shoe-in for the MEAC championship next year.
Listen, anybody that know, I followed Dawson Odoms to Norfolk. I was believing in the behold, the green and gold. I've been rocking with him. And look, one of my favorite coaches in Dawson Odoms, he moves on. Then they bring in my favorite player of all time. Anybody that knows me knows how much love I have for Michael Vick. I don't care about all that other stuff they be trying to put on him, right? In my community, we don't care about that. We remember Michael Vick for the Vick experience. We remember number 7. That's what I remember. Number 7 with the braids, doing everything. The days of playing with Michael Vick on Madden as a kid where he could do it all. That was just what I grew up loving, Michael Vick, and I still love him today. That's my favorite all-time player. So when I heard he got the job at Norfolk, yeah, I've seen people saying the celebrity coach, whatever the case may be. Michael Vick ain't a celebrity coach to me. He's just a football player. What's the problem with having a football player? This notion of using celebrity coaches. How in the hell is this a celebrity coach? A celebrity coach, if I go hire Denzel Washington to be my head coach, that's a celebrity. Jamie Foxx, that's a celebrity coach. Michael Vick is a football player. He played in the NFL. How's that? What makes that celebrity coaching? Right? He's a football player. That means he can go in and he knows the area. He knows that area very well. He's a legend in that area. So to come in and be able to recruit and do the necessary things, I believe that was a great hire. I want to see how he can build it. We all had that question with Eddie George up at Tennessee State, didn't we? Right? That's not a celebrity coaching hire to me. He's not getting treated like a celebrity, is he? He's a football coach. If he was a celebrity, that's all you would hear about. We use the term celebrity because Deion Sanders was a special case. He's a special case when you look at the limelight. The rest of these guys are just former NFL players. It's nothing celebrity about them. Dion is the only thing that creates that celebrity status. The rest of them are former NFL players. And I believe Vick can have the success if he can get the support of the school, the community, and they can draw in the money. They have the biggest stadium in the MEAC. They have a fan base that's just sitting there lying dormant. And if they can get things rolling in that area with Vick using his stature of the former NFL player and put together a great staff, I think the sky's the limit. Now to go over to, you talking about Tremaine Jackson, he has the opportunity to be the first African-American to ever win the Division II national championship. They're taking on Ferris State. He's undefeated at Valdosta. He's a Texas Southern grad. This guy has a proven track record of knowing how to win, and the fact that he's at Valdosta State, where we know who is tradition rich when it comes to championships and winning, and to go there and can be able to put himself in that tough situation. Because anybody who's the head coach at Valdosta, you know what you're getting yourself into. That's kind of like going to Alabama on that level. You know what the expectations are here. It's nothing less than championship. Him going to Prairie View, I think, really shakes up the conference. It's one of those notions, Blue, that we talk about stepping outside of the realm of going around getting and recycling coaches. We hear that all the time, to recycle coaches. And there's nothing wrong with getting a coach from here and there, but sometimes let's get a coach that come from outside of the SWAC realm. A lot of people don't like that. It's okay. You say tomato, I say tomato. You say the, I say the. It does not matter. It's how you want it, how you perceive it. I think Tremaine Jack, if he goes to Prairie View, now the thing is the staff. I've always heard one of the biggest things that hurt Prairie View is you got to have that certain GPA. You just can't go in and get this guy and this guy and that guy. That has to come with the territory. But I think him at Prairie View shakes it up. And considering the success that he's having at Valdosta, especially if they win the Division II national championship and you bring that guy to this level, I like it.